All right, we're continuing the Gerald Shea memo series. The city's going to be talking about today. It's going to be a short video. It's Denver, Detroit, and El Paso. FBI reports on the Israeli art student ring that was seen in these cities during the years 2000 and 2001. And let's start with the Denver division. Sometime in July or August of 2000, on two separate occasions, a male described a Caucasian, 5'8", black hair, wearing baggy clothing, entered the reception area of the Denver divisional office. The unidentified male spoke with a heavy accent and was carrying a black artwork briefcase. The unidentified male asked to speak with anyone interested in purchasing artwork. The unidentified male was asked to leave and did so without incident. Sometime in December of 2000, an unidentified white male, 20 to 25 years of age, entered the Colorado Springs, Colorado resident office in an attempt to sell artwork. He was asked to leave and did so without incident. 4 separate incidents involving unidentified persons attempting to sell artwork at Salt Lake City, Utah resident office was reported by a receptionist. These incidents occurred during the 2000 calendar year. In each incident, all suspicious persons entered the reception area of the Salt Lake City, Utah resident office, asking to speak to anyone interested in purchasing artwork. All subjects spoke with a heavy accent, believed to be French. All subjects were asked to leave and did so without incident. The second reception at the Salt Lake City, Utah resident office reported 1 male and 2 female subjects attempted to sell artwork in the reception area. The receptionist asked the male subject where he was from. Apparently, he claimed he was from Israel. The receptionist purchased a painting for $100 and was not issued a receipt. This incident occurred sometime in January 2001. And as you can see, throughout the fall of 2000 and the early month of 2001, we have Israeli art students, operatives from signals and military, trying to infiltrate the Utah resident office of the Drug Enforcement Agency. Detroit Division. A vehicle technician at the Detroit Division reported that during the fall of 2000, a female appeared to be either Jewish or Arabic in her 20s, visited her home in Southfield, Kentucky, in an attempt to sell her artwork. So they didn't just go to the business they didn't just go to these people's businesses. They went to their homes. And it makes you wonder, how the hell did they get the information knowing where these people lived? And it's right there. Should tell you a lot about how they got the information involving the DEA and the FBI and other areas of employment regarding the federal government, how they got the addresses of the employees. Now, we could speculate all day long about whether they were being followed before they were accosted, or whether somebody on the inside is helping give out addresses, but that means it'll be all throughout the Southwest and Northeast United States. I'm not buying that. It's too many people. Or maybe that they were monitoring these buildings before and somehow hacked into computer database and but that doesn't, I don't think that makes sense either. Because if they could hack it into the database, and first of all, there's no reason really, unless these artworks contain listening devices. I mean, that's really a puzzling aspect. I think the plausible scenario is that they were following certain employees, see who would be an easy mark. A DEA 6 report of investigation was received from the Louisville, Kentucky resident office detailing the suspicious activities of Israeli art students. February 12, 2001, an individual who identified herself as an Israeli art student visited the residence of a special agent. See, they have the home addresses of the FBI as well. The individual stated he was selling artwork door to door. He claimed he and other Israeli art students were staying at a Motel 6 in Lexington, Kentucky. The special agent examined the individual's Israeli Ministries of Transport photo ID. The ID indicated that the individual was Shabar Friedman. driver's license number 672-8447, and ID number 033-056-433. On February 13, 2001, a special agent made contact with an individual outside the Lexington, Kentucky resident office. The individual claimed to be an Israeli art student. The individual was identified as Gerson Ofer Abraham. Abraham presented his Israeli passport, 963-15574, and the Ministries of Transport ID number 034193615. Contact was made with Abraham after ATF personnel observed him walking around the property of the Lexington, Kentucky resident office. During an interview with Abraham, he stated that he did not enter the resident office. He was trying to sell his artwork to individuals in the area. Abraham also stated that he and seven other Israelis were in the U.S. traveling and selling artwork. Now, like I've said in previous videos, they may not know about the other cities at all. They may know about people in their group, people affiliated with their group in that specific city. But this would help the operation if they didn't know about each other, working on one goal, which is to collect information about the FBI and the DEA and other government facilities by using artwork to hide what I think is hidden listening devices. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's already noted in the Gerald Shea Memorandum that many of these operatives, Israeli operatives, worked in signals intelligence, which is basically on the part of monitoring signal devices, listening, or monitoring phone calls or computers. Now, this is 2001, so let's assume highly that this is the dawn of the age of the cell phone, but not prominent yet, and that probably the only way to get eavesdropping, successful eavesdropping, is to put listening devices in the art, hidden somewhere in the frame. That's what I'm thinking. Apparently, the Israelis were staying at a Motel 6 located in Lexington, Kentucky, and planning to travel to Cincinnati, Ohio. Abraham told the special agents that there are two groups of Israeli students currently in the United States. Second group was currently in Memphis, Tennessee, and Houston, Texas. The Israelis plan to stay in the United States until the end of March and the beginning of April. Abraham also claimed that one of the members of the group, Shahar, last name unknown, LNU, that's what that means, visited the residence of a police officer. Shahar told Abraham that the police officer questioned him about the purpose of his visit. El Paso. February 28, 2001, approximately 6:30 p.m., the Albuquerque District Office duty agent received a phone call from Patrick Dawson, Phoenix, Arizona. Dawson stated that their respective offices have received a teletype stating that a terrorist organization from the Middle East has been attempting to obtain information about the layout of different law enforcement agencies throughout the United States. According to Dawson, the organization sends college students with framed paintings to law enforcement buildings in an attempt to gather information about the layout of the buildings. And that could be true, too. It may not have signals devices or listening devices in the art. It's that these people want to get in the building and see the layout of the building. The only way to do that is to collect art. Now, I'm just throwing out some hypotheticals here. I don't know for sure. And since we don't have anybody from the art student ring talking, because they're all in Israel, which is a huge mistake because we should have kept these people here and detained them. But of course, through pressure of the Israeli lobby and Israeli-owned politicians, they tell the FBI to deport them through the INS. So we'll never know what these people were doing. It's amazing. We have names, but nobody wants to talk about this stuff. They want to talk about no planes and no hijackers and how Israel's a demon state. Arabs, patsies, all this stuff, Judy Wood, space beams and whatnot. Here's the real meat right here. I mean, if you want to manipulate an operation like 9/11, you know about the specifics of the operation, when the planes will be hijacked, what they're going to hit. Well, you could prepare to make sure these attacks are successful before the operation even takes place. And that's the strength of any intelligence agency in the world. They operate on information, because information is power. Why I'm such a huge stickler. I'm anal when it comes to, I'm very strict when it comes to every video I make, because every video I make, I want to be informative. I want to share information, not belief, not speculation. It renders us powerless to believe that Israel may be involved. But to know that they're involved is to take the next step, is responsibility. What do you do with it? Did you go to law enforcement? Do you take it to court? Or at least you have those options. When you believe, you can't do any of those things. On or around January 28, 2001, a young man attempted to sell work approached the DEA receptionist for the Albuquerque district office. The receptionist advised the young man that the district office was a federal building and that she or anyone else was not interested. The receptionist observed the young man leave. However, she did not remember the description of the individual. On Tuesday, March 6, 2001, a young female came to the IRS office trying to sell artwork. The woman was dressed neatly in American-style dress. The woman spoke very quietly with a heavy accent, which made her difficult to understand. She advised one of the IRS employees that she was Mongolian, that she had to sell a certain amount of artwork to get an art scholarship. She carried a small portfolio-type container and produced a childish and unframed painting of some sort of animal with glitter. Why do you think they sell this cheap artwork, right? Because they didn't make the artwork, they bought it. Then they tried to resell it for a profit, because who are they paying off? They're probably paying off themselves, because their operation is illegal. The funding for this operation didn't come from the Knesset, didn't come from the American government. I'm pretty sure this wasn't the only way of funding. I assume that there was a drug trade involved, which I might later on down the road talk about, which is the reason why they're monitoring the DEA, because of the simple fact that there was a huge ecstasy ring in New York City at the time that involved one Jacob Cookie Olgrad. That's how you pay for black operations, covert operations that they're illegal. Like I said, they can't go to their respective governments to ask for this money, because they want to know where this money is going to, so they can monitor the funding, transactions, and whatnot. One of the witnesses described it as something the girl might have done herself. The girl was told that soliciting was not allowed in the building as she left the IRS office. No one apparently saw the woman leave the building or the floor, and no other subjects were seen. The woman described her as being in her late teens to early 20s, plump, chunky, and approximately 4'11" and light complexion. So as you can see, some of these cells, these Israeli cells, weren't very big. And for cities like Denver, Detroit, and El Paso, didn't involve a lot of people like, say, Dallas, for example. Or the next one coming up, the next video would be Houston, New Jersey. Right? Those are the bigger ones. And so that's the end of this chapter, the Shea Memorandum. There's going to be a pretty, decent amount of videos regarding this series, because that's how big the Israeli art student and movement company ring was. It was the biggest foreign intelligence operation ever held inside the United States that's known, even to the present day. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. I will see you next video, which is probably tomorrow, maybe later on tonight, depends on what I'm feeling. So have a good week, everybody. Stay safe.